Kia ora Star Wars fans, welcome to Middle-Aged Kiwi Man Collecting Star Wars Figures. In this episode I want to talk to you about Rogue One and Solo. Now I really love those movies because even though they're in the Disney era, which I don't mind at all by the way, they were original trilogy adjacent, which means that they used some of our favourite troopers and introduced some new troopers as well. Rogue One in particular, fantastic movie, a lot of fun, great characters. And just based on a tiny snippet from the opening scroll of A New Hope. And Solo, just a fun movie. To be honest, Han Solo's backstory wasn't one that I was really thinking should be made on screen, but it was just a really fun heist movie set in the Star Wars world. But anyway, let's get on and have a look at the stuff. And cool, we'll start off with a little look at the speeder that young Han Solo stole, which I think is pretty cool. This droid is from Disney Parks. These are 5 POA figures unfortunately, but that's what the line was. Got an RA7 there because one of those gets run over during the chase, and this patrol trooper is one that we definitely want in the vintage collection and with his bike because it's quite a cool design. A little bit of a scout trooper vibe going on there. And here we have some Solo figures in the cabinet here. We've got the Range Trooper and Emphas Nest, both really cool figures. Then over here we've got young Han Solo and young Lando. Young Lando in particular is a great figure. Young Han Solo, the card back's not great and face could probably use photoreal. Down here we've got a bit of a collection of troopers. There's a mixture here of vintage collection, range troopers, and then some 5 POA ones at the back. Same with the Mimban troopers. They weren't available in New Zealand but managed to get a couple of them. And the Mud Troopers, which again would be great to see in the vintage collection line. Got some goodies here. We've got L3, we've got a Chewie. Again we've got the vintage collection main characters and the rest of 5 POA. They're quite nice sculpts, but would have been cool to get them in the vintage collection. And then the only other Solo figures, there's only 5 of them. There's the Mimban Trooper in it, it's hanging another Mimban Trooper there. So there were only 5 vintage collection figures for the whole Solo line. Also in the Force Link line we have this beautiful TIE Fighter. Much more sturdy than some of the other TIE Fighters they've done, and it actually looks pretty cool. So that is pretty good vehicle. And then we just segue nicely from Solo into Rogue One. And one of the reasons I have these guys together is that Mimban Trooper was the first version of the super articulated kind of definitive Stormtrooper, and with a bit of a change of head we go into the Rogue One version, which is cool. These are my favourite Rogue One troopers. We've got the wonderful Death Trooper, beautiful card art on that, and then we've got the Scarif Trooper. Just got a spare tank driver there. Moving on down, we got some of the rebels there, Galen Erso, Admiral Raddus, Ejin Erso, Saw Gerrera, Two Tubes, and Moroth. But again, some just 5 POA figures. They started to get really nice sculpts around this era, but yeah, we want articulation. Okay, we got Krennic here with a bit of an entourage of Death Troopers. A mixture of the vintage collection, Black Series, and then a couple of sneaky 5 POA ones in there. So more of our fun. This K2SO is just beautiful, the vintage collection one. We've got a dead 5 POA one in the background, and the vintage collection Cassian and Jyn. Some more Rebels. There's Chirrut Imwe, vintage collection. The rest of them are all 5 POA. Hopefully Baze Malbus is coming in vintage collection soon. And down here we've got a little Scarif beach scene with a mixture of Scarif troopers and Stormtroopers. They look great together. And then finally we've got this little Segway scene using the new corridor. So we've got Darth Vader choking out Captain Antilles, which doesn't have until New Hope, and then a whole bunch of Rebel troopers. And then over here in the door This guy here has a little piece of paper which says Death Star plans, which my son made for me years ago, and I just love it. The rest of the Rogue One carded figures in the line, the Janus, I think she looks great on that card. Cassian Andor, that K2SO is beautiful. Apologies for the glare, it's near a light. The Death Star Gunner. And the Tank Commander and Tank Driver, which really hard to get now, so I was lucky to get those. Chirrut Îmwe, fantastic figure. We've got the Rebel Fleet Trooper, which came with the Tantive 4 corridor, and we got Mr. Darth Vader. Up here we got a U-Wing. It was such an important vehicle in the Rogue One movie. This is just that Force Link, totally underscaled one. I've just given it a bit of a wash to bring out some more detail, but it'd be great if they did a new version of that. And up here we got a TIE Striker, which was the unique TIE Fighter for the Rogue One line. Pretty neat design. Interesting wings. I'd like to see the troop carrier version that we saw at the end where the Death Troopers jump out the back. That would be pretty cool. And I nearly forgot the best vehicle of all, which is the Vintage Collection Imperial Assault Tank with the commander up top and the driver in there, another squad of Death Troopers, and then the very, very, very brilliant VC-140 Stormtrooper. There's a whole bunch of theirs. There's Moff Gideon in there, so it starts to merge into a bit of a Mandalorian scene, but there's a few of those troopers there and that cool tank. From Rogue One and Solo, my top picks to see in the Vintage Collection. From Rogue One it would be Director Krennic and Baze Malbus. I'd love to see those in the Vintage Collection. And for Solo it would be the Mud Trooper and the Patrol Trooper. But yeah, let me know in the comments which ones you would like to see in the Vintage Collection. Anyway, that's it for now. May the Force be with you, and ka kite.